call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Secretary, call the roll.
Emmerich.
Here.
Shalata.
Here.
Dunlop. Casper.
Here.
Lloyd. Here. Barry.
Here.
Menza.
Here. 3.1, Superintendent's Report.
Very pleased to announce that our Central 7th grade boys basketball team are undefeated champions of the SWIC tournament over the weekend. They were undefeated all season long, as a matter of fact, so congratulations to our 7th grade boys basketball team and their coaches and families. Our district wellness fair was on Saturday, March 2nd. More than 100 families from throughout the community attended the district's first ever wellness fair. Attendees included district families, community members, representatives from 36 different local organizations and businesses were able to speak with attendees and distribute information. Attendees could also choose between more than 20 speaker sessions focused on wellness, mental health, meal planning, and child development. Child-specific sessions were hosted by District 146 staff, and Love on a Leash therapy dogs even made an appearance. The district looks forward to hosting the fair in the future, and we will learn from feedback forms on how to make it even better. Congratulations to Kelly and all of her team that made that such a success. Parent-teacher conferences are coming up this week on Thursday, March 14th from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Our educators are looking forward to meeting with families. Elementary school families were invited to schedule their conference appointments online. Central will host an open schedule parent-teacher conference. Elementary teachers are calling families who have not yet scheduled a conference to make an appointment with families. And Central teachers are also calling parents will be calling parents who they don't see on that day. A QR code is linked to a survey that'll give families a chance to give us feedback on conferences. And devices will be available for families as well as tech support if they care to complete their 5 essential survey while they're in the school for conferences. And tech support will also be available to help families who need assistance with Power School and such. The board already knows this, but I want to announce to the community that all 19 parking lot fixtures were replaced at Fulton this past week. In addition to a brighter and safer Fulton, the district will benefit from energy savings due to the new LED fixtures that were installed. So thank you to Matt and his team who made that a reality. And further thanks to Matt and his team for the new stage curtains at Central. As the board's already aware, we're excited to share that the new stage curtains have been installed at Central. The new curtains replace the original 23-year-old curtains. The new front curtain color was chosen by Central staff. The new blue color will complement Central's school colors. The new curtains, which are inherently fire resistant, will no longer require that they be treated regularly with fire retardant chemicals. We have 2 congratulations this month. First to Kevin Kuzanik and his family as they welcome their baby boy, Cooper Charles. Cooper was born on February 28th, weighing 5 pounds and measuring 19.7 inches long. Everyone is home and doing well. Kevin is an assistant principal at Central Middle School. Also, congratulations to Monique Villamil on the birth of her daughter, Naomi Gray. Naomi was born on March 1st. Everyone is healthy and doing well. Monique is the OT at Memorial. And that's it for the superintendent's report.
Thank you. 4.1, 5-year financial forecast.
Yes, so I have a presentation for the screen, so.
I feel like I'm a tech board.
Brought to you by Epson.
Okay. So this is the annual 5-year forecast that we do, just to get a broad picture of how the district is looking in the years to come. In my world, the budget goes year-round, so we're right here. This is about the time that we present this every year. And I just want to start with talking about the assumptions that go into building a forecast. The forecast is only as good as the inputs that you put into it. So kind of a review of how we get to these numbers first. Starting with a look at our current year revenue. And if you notice, property taxes here at 71%. 3 years ago, before we got the first of the property tax relief grants, that number was 81%. And this evidence-based funding number was 7%. So the funding has shifted quite a bit just in the last 3 years, away from local taxpayers and on to the state. So I'd view that as a good thing. Here's a history of the Consumer Price Index, 5 years of history, where we are right now, and then projections. So you could see it was low in the early years. We had 2 years where it was capped at 5%. It was actually over 5, but we're capped at 5%. We already know the number that we will do at the end of this year for next year's levy is 3.4%. And then going out for the future, I just used 2.5%, which is our long-term historical average. I would suspect it's going to actually come in a little bit higher than that, but it's hard to predict the future, so we went with the historical average there. Also, we get extra money from new property each year, so you could see it was close to $5 million in the early 2000s. Then there was kind of a housing market crash, and it was very low for a number of years. We had the TIF that expired, if you remember that. That's when we added full-day kindergarten, an additional source of funding. And then in the years since, it's stabilized at just under $1 million a year of new property. So we were estimating $700,000 of new property each year going forward. A little bit of history of the evidence-based funding. We were kind of all over the place. Tier 4, which is the least amount of new money. Then we were Tier 3, then Tier 2, and now the last 3 years in a row, we have been in Tier 3, which generates about $50,000 a year in new revenue. But the big thing has been these property tax relief grants. We received $1 million back in FY22, and then that amount every year going forward. $1.2 million in FY23, and that amount every year going forward. And then $1.4 million this year and every year going forward. So those have been the big drivers of new revenue. And other state revenue we're holding flat. Interest revenue has kind of been all over the place too. 4 years ago it was $1 million, then it dropped all the way down to $300,000, but it is climbing back up, and last year it was $750,000, and this year and forward we're projecting $1 million. I think higher interest rates are going to be here for a little while. And then also we have these abatements that we had to do along with the property tax relief grant. 1.7 million for 2 years, 1.9 million for 2 years, 2 million for 2 years, and you can see the years overlap. And so 2 of those abatements are on for approval later tonight. But then those go away once we've done 2 years for each one. The expense numbers are a lot more stable than the revenue numbers. These percentages only change by 1% or 2 or 3 every year. So salaries and benefits being the biggest cost to the district, 70%, and then everything else, smaller numbers. So on the expense side, the assumptions that we use, we just are using the salaries per the negotiated agreements. We have several agreements in place already, so we know those numbers. I'm projecting that our FTE, our employees, will remain flat. That always varies from year to year, but for purposes of a projection, I'm using flat. Health insurance has been on the rise lately. We're looking at 8% this year, and we're just going to use 8% for each of the next 5 years. That had been at 5% in previous versions of this, but it seems to be higher and here to kind of to stay at that level. And then for everything else, I've just used the same number that we use for our CPI, 2.5%. So supplies, purchase services, everything else is going up 2.5%, matching the projection for CPI, and transportation 5%, and the CMS roof $1.5 million for next year. I think it's actually 1.7, but I did this about a month ago. So sorry, these numbers are very small. You have them in board docs. I'll get to an easier to read chart in a second. The best number to look at is this line right here, surplus or deficit. So we have our current year budget right here and then 5 future years. And I know you can't see it, but it's essentially a balanced budget for this year. It's a balanced budget for next year. And then very big surpluses for the future years. And looking at that as a picture, the red line up here is our actual fund balance. So again, we have 5 years of history. Current year budget is right here in the middle, next year, and then going out. And I said this last year for the first time, but in 20 years of doing this, the 5-year financial, every 5-year forecast that I do shows that red line curving down in those out years, year 3, 4, 5. Usually I'll say something like, we have a balanced budget this year, it's close next year, and then the effect of 2% revenue increases and 4% expense increases catch up to us and we go down. Well, you can see here what happened is the effect of those property tax relief grants. Once the abatements go away, it's actually a big jump in our revenue. So the long-term outlook for the district is very good at this point. I had a couple other lines on here. This green line here on the bottom is 50% of our fund balance. We have a fund balance policy that our fund balance can never go below 50% of our expenditures from year to year. So that's what that line is. So as long as the red line is above the green line, we would consider ourselves to be healthy financially. The board policy officially is 50%, but we have always talked unofficially that we like it to be more at 80%, and that's what this blue line is. So you can see we're right at, or we're above the 80%, but even in these out years, it actually goes significantly above that, so that's a good thing. And again, this is what would happen if everything kept going status quo exactly like it is. We've talked about we're probably going to look at abating additional funds when the requirement to abate goes away, because we don't want there to be a 10% increase on tax bills to taxpayers when abatements that happen completely go away. Maybe we'll phase those out. So that would cause this red line to come down. Or capital improvements. Right now we are all of our bonding authority is used up for the next several years, but having fund balance availabilities, things like that. So this is what it looks like if we make no changes. Obviously, we're going to make changes over the course of time. This is an exercise just to show what kind of shape the district is in, and right now the district is in good shape. So that's all I have. If there's any questions. All right, thank you.
Oh, no, come back. 5.1, citizens may address the board at this time. Seeing none. 6.1, union reports.
Okay, lots of little news. Been a lot of activities going on the last several weeks. And CMS, they've been really celebrating students' hard work and successes in the last trimester, as the trimester just finished a week ago. They've had a 4.0 donut breakfast, and honor roll students were also recognized in their classes. Crews concluded a sustainability project. They collected over 1,000 pounds of plastic over the last 4 months. They're getting a buddy bench on the playground, so the kids are excited about that. And this coming Friday is the PTO's Family Fun Fair Night, so something to look forward to over there. Fulton, tonight they're hosting a wheelchair basketball tournament. It's a fundraising event. It's at the middle school at 6:30. There's going to be 19 staff competing on the other team, so it should be interesting. We have some current and former students that are enjoying the basketball, so come out and watch because it'll be fun. Friday, they're having Meet Your Possible Future Teachers Day as the first step-up day before the end of the school year, so something kind of new that they've started. Their student council is having a Get Into Spring Spirit Week event. Ferrick's got a lot. They've had a SEL Family Night last Tuesday, and they had all kinds of different things for social and emotional health. They've had mindfulness, meditation, some therapy, positive affirmation exercises, gratitude journals, and a parent-child internet safety talk was hosted by one of the police department workers over there. They also are honoring the kids that are fasting during Ramadan. They've got some space set aside for them so they don't have to be dealing with the cafeteria and other kids eating and the smells and all that. So that'll be the next month. There's a whole host of Hive activities. They're continuing working on understanding expectations, building character, and also community building over there. Memorial just had their family reading night on Thursday of last week. We had a craft, we had a spotlight reading where we read with flashlights in the dark, and some parachute games, so everybody had a really good time. So lots of things involving the family and community, so it's been a good few weeks. That's it.
Thank you. Just a couple things. We've been on, through the SPED team, we've been on for each individual building, going on little tiny field trips with the SPED team, with the SPED kids and such, and they were enjoying it and such. And then also some Gen Ed kids too go on it and such. And then the one thing that at Memorial they really like are the therapy dogs coming in. And it's opened up to even some kids who may have a little bit of difficulty throughout the day, and that seems to calm them down. So we're opening it up a little bit more.
Thank you. 7.1, can I have a motion for closed session, or of the consent agenda, please?
I move that we approve item 7.1, approval of minutes, 7.2, approval of closed session minutes, 7.3, approval of the destruction of closed session tapes, 7.4, approval of financial items, 7.5, approval of personnel items, as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any discussion? Secretary, call the roll.
Hammernick,
Yes.
Jalata,
Yes.
Dunlop,
Yes.
Casper,
Yes.
Lloyd, yes, Barry.
Yes.
Nenza.
Yes. 7.6, approval of the CMS roof restoration project.
Yes, this should be the final version. We got the draft contract from the vendor. It's been vetted through Matt and Jay Money's office as well as our business attorney, and then sent back to the vendor who expressed contentment with the edits that we requested today. So it just needs your approval, and we'll be ready to start moving forward.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move that the Board of Education approve the contract for the CMS roof restoration project as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions?
Just to be clear, what did we land on for the total cost for this?
1.7 plus the two options.
Yes.
Here, I can open the,
Just a little
It's in
over
board
1.7
docs, and I don't
million,
have it in
right?
front of me.
Yeah.
I have it, $1.711 million, plus a couple $25,000 options.
Other questions? Secretary, call the roll.
Hammernick,
Yes.
Jalata,
Yes.
Dunlop,
Yes.
Casper,
Yes.
Lloyd, yes, Barry.
Yes.
Nenza.
Yes. 7.7, approval of the revision to the 24-25 school calendar.
yeah, so when we submitted the approved calendar to the ISC, it bounced back for the coding of August 21st. We had scheduled a half-day school improvement day. We qualify for those because of the length of our school day, and you have to bank a certain number of hours before you take one. Fortunately, our agenda for that day qualified for another, and of course, I pressed the wrong button here. Just one second. It qualifies as a half-teacher in-service day, so we can change the coding on that day, keep the same agenda that we intended, and carry on, and our calendar will pass. In order to do that, though, the board needs to reapprove it with that coding change.
Is there a motion?
I move that the Board of Education approve the revisions made to the 2024-2025 school calendar as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions?
I have one question. We were waiting to hear about some trainings that were coming from ISC4. Is that happening?
Still waiting.
Still waiting,
Yeah,
okay.
They've got a date, but they're still getting keynote speaker, and we still don't know exactly what the meat of it is. So we're waiting to get more details on that. So as soon as we get it, we'll get it to you.
Once they have an agenda,
Yeah.
we'll see whether or not the agenda suits our needs. If it does, then we'll ask you to
Adjust.
change it again. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Questions? Secretary, call the roll.
Hammernick,
Yes.
Shalata,
Yes.
Dunlap,
Yes.
Casper,
Yes.
Lloyd, yes, Barry.
Yes.
Nenza.
Yes. 7.8, approval of policy changes, second reading.
Yes, a long list of press-recommended policy changes, most of them updates or reviews. There have been no changes since it was reviewed by the policy committee and since your first read last month.
Is there a motion?
I move that the Board of Education approve the revised policies as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions? Secretary, call the roll.
Hammernick,
Yes.
Shalata,
Yes.
Dunlap,
Yes.
Casper,
Yes.
Lloyd, yes, Barry.
Yes.
Nenza.
Yes. 7.9, approval of special education transportation fiscal year 25 contract.
Same contract you looked at last month, no changes. Chairman, do you have anything to add?
Actually, it's 2 years, so it's FY '25 and '26.
We should say that in the
7% each year.
motion language. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Fiscal year
But yes,
2000
no changes since last month.
Fiscal year 25 and fiscal year 26 as presented.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I move that the Board of Education approve the special education transportation contract with Sunrise Transportation for fiscal years 2025 and 2026 as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
Questions? Secretary, call the roll.
Hammernick,
Yes.
Shalata,
Yes.
Dunlap,
Yes.
Casper,
Yes.
Lloyd, yes, Barry.
Yes.
Nenza.
Yes. 7.10, approval of the resolution authorizing the abatement of a portion of the taxes heretofore levied by Community Consolidated School District Number 146, Cook County, Illinois, in connection with the receipt of a property tax relief grant fiscal year 23.
Yes, this is the second abatement of the fiscal year 23 property tax relief grant in the amount of a little over $1.9 million.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move that the Board of Education approve the resolution authorizing the abatement of a portion of the taxes heretofore levied by Community Consolidated School District 146, Cook County, Illinois, in connection with the receipt of a property tax relief grant FY '23.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions, discussion? Secretary, please call the roll.
Hammernick,
Yes.
Shalata,
Yes.
Dunlap,
Yes.
Casper,
Yes.
Lloyd, yes, Barry.
Yes.
Nenza.
Yes. 7.11, approval of the resolution authorizing the abatement of a portion of the taxes heretofore levied by Community Consolidated School District 146, Cook County, Illinois, in connection with the receipt of a property tax relief grant fiscal year 24.
Yes, this is the first of two abatements in connection with property tax relief grant fiscal year 24 in the amount of $2 million.
Is there a motion?
I move that the Board of Education approve the resolution authorizing the abatement of a portion of the taxes heretofore levied by the Community Consolidated School District 146, Cook County, Illinois, in connection with receipt of a property tax relief grant FY '24.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Secretary, please call the roll.
Hammernick,
Yes.
Shalata,
Yes.
Dunlap,
Yes.
Casper,
Yes.
Lloyd, yes, Barry.
Yes.
Nenza.
Yes. 8.1, communications correspondence. We have one.
The flowers were so beautiful. Thank you for remembering my father. The kindness and support from the district is greatly appreciated. Jean Matthews Alvarez.
Thank you, Patty. 9.1, can I have a motion for closed session, please?
I move that the Board of Education go into closed session to discuss personnel matters.
Is there a second?
Second.
Secretary Cole?
Hammernick,
Yes.
Shalata,
Yes.
Dunlap,
Yes.
Casper,
Yes.
Lloyd, yes, Barry.
Yes.
Nenza.
Yes. There will be action following closed.
Just need Dean.
Mics are on. Yep. Okay. Okay, we're now back in in open session. 10.1, board decision on UGP complaint 230001. Is there a motion?
1 second, call it up.
I got it. I move that the Board of Education affirm the superintendent's decision on UGP 23-0001.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Secretary, call the roll.
Hammernick,
Yes.
Shalata,
Yes.
Dunlap,
Yes.
Casper.
Yes.
Lloyd, yes. Barry.
Yes.
Nenza.
Yes. 10.2, potential dismissal of paraprofessional. Is there a motion?
I move that the Board of Education approve the dismissal of paraprofessional Marcy Wright.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Secretary, call the roll.
Hammernick,
Yes.
Shalata,
Yes.
Dunlap,
Yes.
Casper.
Yes.
Lloyd, yes. Barry.
Yes.
Nenza.
Yes. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
I move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ladies.